Wow, isn't that a beautiful scene there? The ocean looks amazing. So clear, breathtaking, and that rich blue color isn't half bad either. But look, over there! There's more to this scene than just the ocean. Did you notice the ecosystems around the ocean? The palm trees, the many types of beautiful fish, the birds, all sustaining around the largest carbon hold on the planet. This carbon hold is not only our greatest potential benefit, but also a biome in which we have much global work to do. Today we are struggling with a number of parts contributing to ocean acidification. The systems that act as a part of the ongoing and increasingly complex wicked problem are nitrogen cycle, algae blooms, coral reef bleaching, fertilizers, overfishing, CO2 emissions, melting polar ice caps, sea level rise, and desalinization. These systems contribute to what?
You guessed it!
Ocean acidification.
Wow, all of this sounds very serious. So, what is ocean acidification?
Funny you should ask. I have a school project on it.
Ocean acidification is the chemical restructuring of the ocean's water through variations in the pH level of the composition. A pH increase is a result of additional carbon intakes through the ocean. The science on this is very tedious.
Pretty much what all the science mumbo-jumbo means
is that as our greenhouse gases continue to increase and we as humans continue to add to the complexity in ways that only we as humans can, we contribute to the degradation of one of our most biodiverse areas, as well as deteriorate one of the most incredible areas in the world, nature's marine aquatic biome. You may remember it from earlier in the video. So now that we understand the situation, let's meet some of the key players in this system through our favorite game. Look, a picture! Ah, what a calming scene. Look at that green grass, morning dew, and a gorgeous barn. What a vision! Recent restructuring in our agricultural practices have led to an increased demand and dependence on fertilizers in farm country.
Farm country is often created in areas that are near an abundant water supply and have thick topsoil layers in the dirt. The first layers of topsoil are called the O and A profiles, which provide nutrient-rich soils that are ideal for crop growing.
They're located in the center of the United States and other areas around the world. However, now we're going to make a distinction and focus on the U.S. as an example of oceanic dead zones that are a form of escalating feedback in the system that is continuing ocean acidification. The excessive amounts of fertilizers used on crops in the farming regions now are a risk to watershed and drainage systems, but are necessary in our agricultural system because we have an increased population that needs to be fed. Since we have exceeded the carrying capacity of our soils, which is when excessive fertilizer use enters the equation and can begin to throw a system out of whack.
Why? The fertilizers drain into the waterways and create supplemental nutrients for producers like algae and other abiotic producers. But also, they calcify smaller crustaceans, corals, mollusks, because they have carbonate exoskeletons. So that's the coral bleaching that we talked about earlier. And I bet you didn't know that coral reefs act as a filter and they kind of help, keep our oceans healthy. So if we're destroying our coral reefs, we're kind of destroying our oceanic health.
Calcification of the coral reef leads to less biodiversity, and decreased biodiversity leads to a failing ecosystem that is unable to easily recover from changes that occur.
But back to the point about the algae! Fertilizer from farm country has gone through most of the watershed and floated right down the Mississippi River, but decided to stop and party at the Gulf of Mexico. The party in the Gulf of Mexico is for the small benefactors of nutrients like algae, which blooms, like really blooms. The algae blooms are immense, and they block all light to the life below it, preventing producers from photosynthesizing, primary consumers from consuming the photosynthesizing plants, secondary consumers from devouring the primary consumers, and so on, until the ecosystem forces change upon the environment, which results in an oceanic dead zone. Let's go over it with a picture!
Oh! But AnnaLisa, didn't you just say that it gives it nutrients and they can grow for long periods of time?
Yes, but the dead zone is created when the farmer stops fertilizing their crops because it's no longer planting season for their crops. The nutrients fail to supply the exponential growth of the algae bloom, which dies and has already created a death zone beneath it, and now we have a whole area of nothing going on. If you recall, it's called a dead zone.
Currently, the dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico is the largest ever measured. It is estimated to be 6,000 or 7,000 square miles, according to the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA for short.
Dead zones have no fish, which creates a problem for local fishermen. Our growing population's need for protein is partially solved by the farmer who's creating subsidied crops for livestock. But since we've eliminated so much biodiversity in our oceans, we've created another problem.
Overfishing!
Overfishing has a relationship with ocean acidification because there's less biodiversity in our oceans, and therefore we have less available resources to feed our growing population and provide economic opportunities to local fishermen and people who need protein.
This is an additional relationship between oceans and how we feed our global population. This is an equitable economic and environmental issue. But what else does it have a relationship with? Sea level rise. The ocean acts as our largest carbon hold, and a recent study by the Institute for Demographic Research at the City University of New York stated 634 million people live near the ocean and are at risk from rising seas. Because of the increasing carbon that is being absorbed by the ocean that comes from warmer global temperatures, they're causing the ice caps to melt, also leading to a desalinization of the oceans, which you may refer back to this video and say,
Ocean acidification.
This system can be represented by my metamap.
all in all, that's the system of ocean acidification. Bye!
I bet you thought I forgot about references. I didn't. This is Rachel. She's been drawing everything. That's Stasia. She peer edited. Yay! Also, references are located below this video in the description.